Hi, I'm Cyber, and today we'll be reviewing Kloy, one of the most loved builders to date. If you are new to the series, I'll catch you up to speed. Each tower Kloy made will be judged based on 5 different categories, and the average of all his towers will be his final score. Last time we reviewed Seal Ozolski, and he got a final score of 6.56. Can Kloy overtake Seal's throne, or will Seal remain the champion? Let's find out now. So, we did the Tower of Deep Darkness last time, so it'd be a waste of time to do it again. So go watch part 1 if you want to hear my opinions on it, but I guess I'll show you the score. It's the least I can do. The Tower of Difficulty chart is one of the most influential towers of all time. If you don't know already, this tower is themed around the difficulty chart, each floor representing a difficulty from it, with the exception of floor 8, which includes both insane and extreme. The first 5 floors are all really short, which is good so the player can get to the harder floors quicker. Floor 6 is also netted, which is good so the player doesn't go insane from falling all the way to an earlier and easier floor. The gameplay is supposed to be inconsistent, but can someone please tell me why floor 9, which is supposed to be terrifying, is harder than floor 10, the catastrophic floor? There isn't too much design, but it works out fine and I personally think it looks good. The music is pretty cool, as it gets more intense with each difficulty. Overall, I think this is a W Sigma Rizzler Giant Skibidi Tower. The Tower of Spiraling Heights is Kloy's easiest tower in-game. It is pretty fun to play through, and the gameplay is quite well made and very consistent. However, the design is really inconsistent though. Some floors with no detail at all, and some with pretty good design for its time. My personal favorite being floor 9. The music kind of fits, but there could have definitely been some better song choices. It does its best to be creative, but in the end, it's just not too unique. Tower of Leaning Ledges is a pretty fun one. Most of the gameplay is fine, but there are a couple difficulty spikes. Floor 10 is the worst offender, as it is extremely hard compared to the rest of the tower. Floor 10 is also a recap of the previous floors, which is pretty cool, I think. It is decently creative and the music is okay. I really like the design of the tower. I think it works really well. Also, don't mind the spitters at the top. They're just only decoration and nothing else. Trust. You know what? I really enjoy Tower Floral Fury. You start the tower in this massive yellow pod thingy and climb up a hollow brown tube. After exiting it, the player can see that is a ginormous flower that extends about 6 floors up. The camping music also hits pretty hard here. After some wacky and kind of awkward jumps, the player reaches the cave. I feel like the place the cave is really out of place, and I personally think it is the ugliest thing in the tower. I also love how there is a lot of gameplay around the tower, but occasionally the player goes inside to climb up. After you reach the top of the sunflower, the player traverses across a bunch of bee, comb, honey, hexagon force thingies, which take a high IQ to comprehend, which is something most JTO players struggle to achieve. After some awkward jumps, the player reaches the jump pad. I hated this part when I was a beginner. The 1 studs are actually dog water. After that, you can see a very strange looking structure, which again takes Einstein levels of brain power to understand. Thank God the outside is normal, but after it comes the worst gameplay in Ring 5. After the half studs, there isn't anything worth mentioning besides the final jump. To be very funny and Sigma Skibidi Riz, someone decided to put an unnetted final jump onto a spinning bird. It's not hard at all, but it's still pretty funny when people fail it. Next is Kloy's hardest tower in the game, Tower of Champions Road. This tower has a free floor and a permanent net at floor 6, but don't let that fool you. The gameplay is extremely hard. The first floors are okay, I guess, but they don't offer anything very fun. Floor 6 is absolute garbage. This is by far the worst floor. I hate the gameplay so much. Floors 7 to 10 are amazing and the best floors of the tower, although there are a couple of annoying sections. for the most part, those floors are super fun. The most creative part of the tower was a ragdoll section on 8 that I couldn't even get to work, which leaves a pretty bad look on the score. Most of the music was good, but I found a couple songs really annoying, especially the one on floor 6. The design is pretty good, but some wedges don't have any parts beneath them, which makes them look pretty ugly. Okay, I literally do not know what to do for Citadel of Peril. Kloy only made one floor out of 15. From now on, if the tower's a collab, they must be a significant help to the tower, or else it will not be reviewed. It is revealed by Theodoric that Kloy did not help much in TOFF, but I already spent 5 minutes writing the script for it, and I do not feel like removing all my precious works. The Tower of Inevitable Failure is really well made. The gameplay is absolutely amazing, with cool ladder flicks and fun modded gameplay scattered everywhere. Floor 7 is a bit too hard compared to the rest of the tower, but that might just be me. It is really fun to play through, but it can be annoying to fail. I don't know how, but they made most of the gameplay over nothing, so if you are planning on grinding this tower, expect a floor fall to floor 1, over and over and over again. The design is really good, and the tower is kind of creative, but there is really nothing noteworthy, besides the pendulum. The music is awesome in this tower, and it fits everywhere. The floor 1 song makes me go insane after a while, though I prefer the Act 1 song. Okay, I thought we learned from TOEI to not make peak extreme towers, but I guess we didn't. Although the Tower of Fractured Memories looks good and is creative, it is very inconsistent and very unfun to grind. Some parts feel like remorseless difficulty, and other parts feel like low catastrophic. It doesn't help that the tower used to be terrifying. It honestly feels like a terrifying tower, but at the last minute they added button progress to make it feel extreme. Oh, the music is good though. The cake is a lie, 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 the cake is a lie. I have pretty mixed feelings on the Tower of Cosmic Tides. No, not Times. It is a very creative tower, and it looks amazing. However, the gameplay is kinda goofy. Sometimes it's fun and cool, and other times it can be weird and confusing. I fell a couple times due to the rooting, and I was pretty mad on my way back up. I really like the outsides, they look and play amazing. The screen got more dramatic on floor 10, and it caught me off guard, in a good way though. The music is also pretty decent. The Tower of Astral Fusion is an absolute masterpiece. This is definitely one of the best soul-crushing towers in the game. The gameplay is excellent, it's really creative, it's very, very fun, it looks amazing, and I could go on and on. The tower is in the shape of a circle, and it reminds me of those memory color wheel toy things. You start on the green segment and work your way towards the center. The first 3 floors are very fun, but they are pretty hard and tedious. They are kind of like a test of skill that only lets good and worthy players pass them and play the tower. Floor 4 is completely free and is a fork in the road. You could either pick yellow, which is easier but punishing, or blue, which is harder but safe. The yellow path is very fun, and I highly recommend it. The blue path has good gameplay and creativity, but the enjoyment just isn't there. It is extremely irritating to be stuck on the same 2 floors for what seems like an eternity. The red floors are very Fire Sigma. Like the green floors, the red floors are also a test in a way. They test if the player is worthy of going on to the final stretch. The final stretch is good, but must be practiced. I genuinely do not know how anybody could beat it without practice. The music is super skibbity fire. In conclusion, Kloy is an amazing builder that has been with Jato since day one. Almost all of his towers are iconic masterpieces that shape Jato for the better. Let's see his final score. Probably a couple minutes after this video releases, I will set up a poll where you guys can choose who I will review next. Okay, Subwibe.